Be cool if I could do a little video so that we could promote this, because I just think that what you do is so special. And because I'm so tech savvy, I'm not really sure if it's going to come on my page.
Why don't we
I'm like, oh,
track
so let me video.
We'll get the 8-track cassette player and plug that in. And maybe
it's the truth. But you know something? I long time ago learned that I can't take this stuff too seriously. I used to be shaking and peeing 18 times right before I had to go on live, and I'd have you on the phone walking me through it all, and now we both just sort of laugh our way through it.
Because really, is it really that important?
Right.
Is it really
right? And you know what I think is so amazing about that is, and that it's so cool that it's happening with you, is that was so much judgment laid on ourselves by ourselves. Oh my God, if I don't come and do this perfectly, they're going to think I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh my God, if I don't show up on the video perfectly, they're going to think they can't count on me. Oh my God, if I don't do this, it's going to be that. And I just think it's so perfect, actually, that this is happening, because it doesn't matter.
Well, that's a really good point, because and I'll talk about it in a little bit. I have this retreat in Sedona, and it is really teaching me so many of these rules. Like, even if things don't work out the way that you made an assumption that they would, you don't make anything mean anything about yourself. And I am like, divine is like kicking me very lovingly in the butt with that. And I feel like that's a really good example of, it doesn't matter how something ends up. We want a certain outcome. We want this video to be perfect,
right?
To, have all the lighting and, the technical stuff. And when things don't work out the way that we want to, we make it about us. I know that is my lesson in this whole journey through stepping up and amplifying my level of who I am, is learning this lesson through the things that I create for myself. So, go right on, just videotape this, because it doesn't matter.
And I just, what's so funny is, because I feel like, and I always say this, I feel like, I was here to clear judgment, and then judgment's sidekick, ego. So like the two of them together are this really like individual duo out to get me. That's what I always thought. But the truth is that they show up when I have to wake up and see that there's another lesson underneath it all. And I just love how you created this beautiful book for little kids, so that they learn to tune into the light before they get all the
cement over their
over their light. Exactly.
So that was kind of the first initiation into healing myself. So my little book, I mean, I guess people know about it. Let Your Inner Golden Sparkle Shine. So and it's funny that I'm talking about it today, because I got my first completed photograph or illustration for my second one.
Yay!
So this little,
I saw that,
and I'll show you, but it is so adorable, that because it's all about, so little V. So the premise of it is that little V, who is me, has come out of her healing. She's used all the little mantras that she said in her first book. She's kind of healed herself, and now she has this little golden toolbox full of tools that she's now going to show other children of what they can use in order to heal their emotions. So there's those dandelions that have the little flower on it that you can, slow down your breath when you're feeling anxiety. There's like a little snow globe that she showed. So it's funny that, I don't know where that was going, but the Let Your Inner Golden Sparkle Shine was the first one, and then this one is little V and her magic golden toolbox, And teaching children how to be resilient and to understand their emotions is my second one. So, and it's all been through the healing of myself and tapping into that intuitive part of myself.
And it's
interesting.
interesting. Yeah, it's so interesting because I've spent a lot of time, coaching and talking to people about, in my opinion, I think that the thing that always gets overlooked is the relationship that we have with ourselves. I mean, I feel like, Intuitive Tastings last month was talking about this exploration of, like, how do we develop that relationship with ourselves? And what a great place to begin is when you're teaching it to children. And now you're writing an adult version of a book, not the same book. And that's just so cool too, because it's like it's all of the information that you were able to seed in everything that you did.
Yeah. So that's also, it's, I had this like great idea of another, attachment to outcome that I thought I'd have my whole manuscript finished in October. Nowhere near, which is awesome. So this is a Heal Yourself, Heal Your Children, and it's actually about the beginning stages of like understanding why I am the way I am. What is that identity that I connected with that really wasn't about me. It was really, the pain, the unhealed pain and trauma of my mother. And, I feel like, with your work, with the tools that I use, not just the tools from my little children's book, but the tools that I use with meditation and Reiki and energy healing, tarot reading, it all encompasses what we all have inside. I'm just kind of using, it's almost like, that the story of the Golden Buddha, this is another little type of hammer to chisel away at the cement that kind of envelopes all of us.
So it's super interesting that you're saying this, because as you're saying this, my guides are talking to me, and what they're showing me is my hands. And they're saying how you can have all the elements of who you are in your guides, in your ego, in your spirit guides, in the angels that surround you, they're telling me, and even in loved ones that passed. And they all infiltrate into the soul space of who you actually are. But who you are actually mirrors all of those different parts of yourself, depending on what it is that you're seeking and needing and looking for. But the truth is that we create the vision, the play that we get to play in. And the trick is to always know that the play isn't about how we can find out what we're not doing right.
Right.
That the trick is to find out how what we are doing is perfect.
Exactly. Well, and that's the guidance of your higher power.
Yeah.
If you connect to that through your intuition, through, your source energy, things become so much clearer.
They do.
So, now I'm like, oh, I get it. Because this, like I said, this retreat that I'm creating and I'm hosting in Sedona in January, is really mostly teaching me about not allowing the outcome whether it fills up or it doesn't. It is teaching me all about the lessons that I need to learn about myself, because sometimes divine has another plan for you.
Sure.
And we as human beings, we want to control that. So we want, this is how I want it to happen. And if it doesn't happen that way, then I'm going to make it mean something about myself. And, you and I have had conversations about this, that it does not have anything to do with me.
Right.
But my lesson is in there. And now I pulled a card for myself this morning, and it was all about discernment. And, that was very, very appropriate. And also I then a video popped up about how God or divine or whatever your belief system is, sometimes gives you what you actually don't want, because there is this lesson underneath of that. And I'm like, all these messages are like, oh my God, yeah, I know that I'm being led, because I am now connected to myself, and I'm not connected to those old stories that I need whatever happens for validation.
Well, yeah, and then the truth about it is that our souls actually picked this journey when we were not part of this human form that we're actually in, because it knew that we had lesson to learn, this path to learn, so that we could become truer to ourselves. And I think that being able to surrender to that path and not taking those lessons as armor to, I'm sorry, they're speaking to me at the same time as I'm speaking, so it's a little confusing. But it's so the lessons that we're getting from the things that we're experiencing are also lessons for our soul to be able to create the path that we were meant to when we came here. And the trick is to be able to surrender to the control of it all, and to allow the universe to deliver. Because the truth is, the universe does not want us suffering, does not want us not being in joy and happiness and love and in compassion. It wants all of that. But it's our translation of the information coming to us, mirroring back to us, that puts us in the space of feeling discomfort, pain, lack of compassion, lack of fitting in, lonely. All those pieces come from our translation of that information coming back to us because of our own experiences. But that's really not the intention. So the intention isn't, I don't believe, is so that we suffer. I think the intention actually is they just provide the information, and then we do what we want with it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm learning so much, not just about how to host a retreat in another, state, but what does it mean about me? Why is it that I think that bigness, redefining bigness, like, why is that more important to me than hosting the most incredible, spiritual, connected, grounded retreat about manifesting that I can possibly create?
You know what I think is so funny? If I would have told you 5 years ago,
oh yeah, I would be like, that
you would be hosting a retreat, you would say, ugh. And that would have felt, and that just that would have felt so big.
Oh yeah.
So maybe it's appreciating the growth that you've made to be able to do this, and have that be an acknowledgement to everything that you've done.
Yeah, and I think most human beings, and I know that I do that, we all see successful people. I'm holding my phone, so I can't make double quotes. But successful people, we don't realize, we only see those people and idolize them because they have gone through the steps that we are beginning to take.
Right.
Eckhart Tolle used to have, people, like 6 or 7 people in his living room and did like talks. Brene Brown, they wouldn't publish her book. So she sold her books out of the back of the car. Right. And I have to keep remembering that I am beginning this. I am not going to give up. I am never going to, because I know I have a message and a mission and a mission and a mission and a movement, as you know. But it's hard not to get caught up in what everybody else is doing. Oh, well, that's them. And the compare, because I grew up with a very comparison energy in my home with my sister. So I only saw that as like, oh, well, something's wrong with you. Right. So Sara, can you do me a favor, please? Can you please in the comments under the video, and if you don't see this video,